Imagine a friendship so deep it felt unbreakable. Now, picture it shattered by the cruelest betrayal. Lila Harper, an art restorer in Elysium City, thought she had it all. A thriving career and lifelong bonds with Sophie and Clara, plus a passionate love with James. But when James and Sophie's affair and Clara's silent complicity tear her world apart, Lila transforms. This isn't just a story of a broken heart, it's a descent into a shadowy underworld where art, money, and power intertwine with ruthless ambition. Witness Lila's meticulous, three-stage plan to dismantle their lives, piece by painful piece, from exposing Sophie's glamorous facade to trapping Clara in a web of deceit and finally confronting James's criminal empire. Lila faces not just her betrayers, but a corrupt system that protects them. Will her quest for justice bring her peace, or will the cost of revenge leave her more broken than ever? Dive into broken bonds and discover if some ties are meant to shatter to forge a new, stronger self.
We were three, each other's secret protector, mirror. In this vast metropolis of Elysium City, we grew up clinging to each other. We were inseparable since childhood, our lives intertwined like the delicate threads of a tapestry. For me, they were more than family. They were the very air I breathed, the ground beneath my feet. Sophie, dazzling, always drawing attention, a supernova in human form. Wherever she went, eyes turned to her, drawn by her magnetic ambition. She was relentless, wouldn't stop until she got what she wanted, crushing anyone in her path. Clara, quiet, observant, always the balance between us, a silent anchor. She seemed calm, almost invisible, but I knew the storms within her, the unspoken resentments simmering beneath the surface. And I, lost in the world of art, dreaming of beauty and restoration, mending broken pieces was my nature, my calling. Just as I restored artworks, I believed I could restore everything in my life, every shattered relationship, every fractured dream. Then we grew up, and friendship, that sacred bond, turned into a brutal racetrack, a competition for affection, success, and love. The first one to break my heart, to tear my world apart, was my closest friend. And I learned to live with those broken pieces, to carry them like shards of glass in my soul. Lila Harper is an art restorer, living for art, mending broken pieces of canvases and sculptures. Her studio, a sanctuary of quiet concentration, is nestled in an old, historic neighborhood of Elysium City at the end of a narrow cobblestone street. Inside, the air is thick with the comforting scent of old paint, turpentine, and aged wood. But the bonds within her, the very fabric of her being, have been consumed by the cruel betrayal of the past, leaving only ashes and a hollow ache. Her relationship with childhood friends Sophie and Clara was once the undisputed foundation of her life. They used to spend endless hours dreaming together, sharing every secret, every fleeting thought, making elaborate plans for a future where they would conquer the world side by side. Everything changed when James Carter, Lila's first love, and then a charismatic young art student, entered their lives. James was magnetic, effortlessly charming, a rising star in the art world whose presence lit up every room he entered, captivating everyone with his easy smile and confident aura. Lila had fallen in love with James at first sight, a pure and innocent love that felt like destiny. But Sophie, with her ambitious and destructive nature always getting what she wanted, saw James as another prize to be claimed. She seduced him, brazenly displaying her relationship with James right before Lila's eyes, a cruel, public spectacle of betrayal. Their secret meetings, their whispered conversations, their stolen glances carved deep, irreparable wounds in Lila's soul, leaving her feeling hollowed out and discarded. In that moment, not just love, but the very bonds of trust and loyalty within me shattered into 1,000 pieces. It was as if a vital piece of my soul had been torn away, leaving an agonizing void. Sophie's ruthless ambition, Clara's complicit silence. Both stabbed me at the same time, a double-edged sword piercing my very core. Sophie stole James from me, but Clara's turning away, her refusal to acknowledge the truth, was an even greater betrayal for me. She knew everything, every whispered secret, every stolen kiss. But she stayed silent. Why? Was it jealousy, a hidden desire for what Sophie had? Or was it fear, a desperate need to avoid conflict? I was just a reflection to them, a stepping stone in their ascent, easily discarded once my purpose was served, a disposable friend. James is now the owner of the Obsidian Gallery, one of Elysium City's most prestigious and outwardly glamorous art galleries. He remains as charismatic and dangerous as ever, his charm a deceptive veil. Behind the glittering facade of the art world, he is the undisputed boss of a dark, sprawling network, his influence reaching into every shadowy corner of the city. Not only women, drawn by his allure, but also the city's underworld are inextricably drawn to him, like moths to a dangerous flame. Sophie, the editor of Vogue Aura fashion magazine, lives a glittering but ultimately empty life at the pinnacle of the fashion world, her success built on a foundation of ruthless ambition. In every glossy photo, every polished interview, her fake, triumphant smile mocked me, a constant reminder of what she had taken. Clara is still a piano teacher, her life seemingly unchanged, quiet and introverted, but I knew she was harboring past jealousies and deep regrets, festering wounds beneath her calm exterior. Her silence, once a comfort, was now a scream for me, a deafening reminder of her complicity. Lila is now determined not to turn her back on them, not to simply walk away from the pain, but to crush them with justice, to dismantle their carefully constructed lives. This revenge is not just a cold, calculated reckoning, but also a desperate, burning attempt to mend her own broken soul, to reclaim the pieces of herself they had shattered. It is a solitary journey to claim my own justice, to finally breathe free. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, a patient, calculated act. But for me, it was a volcano boiling inside me for years, a molten core of anger and hurt. With every eruption, it burned another part of me, consuming my peace, my innocence. Now I would use that fire, that consuming rage, to burn them, just as they burned me, leaving me in ashes. Lila uncovers that James is meticulously laundering vast sums of money through the Obsidian Gallery and actively selling illegally obtained, often stolen, priceless artworks. This is not just a vague suspicion, a fleeting thought. It is concrete, irrefutable information obtained from the desperate whispers of James's former accountant, a man burdened by guilt from James's dirty dealings, his conscience finally breaking. He secretly leaked incriminating documents to me, risking everything. Sophie, with her vast media power and extensive connections, manages the intricate PR work covering up James's dark connections, meticulously crafting a pristine public image for him. Her influence is used to make James's dirty dealings appear clean, legitimate, a masterclass in deception. Clara, on the other hand, serves as a legal art consultant for the gallery. In reality, she is the architect of the elaborate web of fake documents designed to legitimize James's illegal transactions, a silent accomplice. Each one is deeply involved in the crime, their roles differing, yet all equally complicit. But all of them were integral parts of that insidious triangle that broke my heart, tearing my world apart. Each of them had a distinct, crucial role in this twisted game, a game that had cost me everything. Lila devises a meticulous three-stage plan to dismantle this entire corrupt structure, brick by painstaking brick. This plan targets not only James, the architect of my pain, but also Sophie and Clara, because her revenge is deeply personal, an emotional reckoning long overdue.
Lila meticulously leaks a trove of damning documents, Fake invoices, irrefutable evidence of illegal transfers, incriminating emails detailing how Sophie's PR campaigns systematically laundered James's dirty money, even a few scandalous personal photos of Sophie and James concerning Sophie's illicit deals with James to a prominent media outlet. This devastating leak will be timed to occur during Vogue Aura magazine's most prestigious fashion show of the year, a glittering spectacle where Sophie is at the absolute peak of her career, basking in the spotlight. Lila cunningly sets up Clara to appear as an unwitting courier for James's illegal artworks, carrying a package laden with fake documents. Clara, completely unaware of the true contents, will carry a seemingly innocuous package containing illegally acquired artworks and incriminating papers. She will then be arrested following an anonymous, precisely timed police tip from Lila. Lila meticulously installs hidden cameras in strategic locations within James's The Obsidian Gallery, recording his illegal activities, capturing every illicit transaction, every whispered deal. She will then send all the collected damning documents and incriminating footage to the prosecutor's office, sealing his fate.
But there were other players in the game, shadows I hadn't accounted for. The shadows of Elysium City were deeper, more intricate, and far more treacherous than I had ever thought. Detective Ryan Cole, a man who pretended to take my tips seriously, a wolf in sheep's clothing, was actually funded by James, his loyalty bought and paid for. For him, justice was only the color of money, a commodity to be traded. I faced an invisible front, a formidable enemy, the system itself. Corrupt, ruthless, and all-consuming, it protected its own, but I was once part of that system too, a silent observer in its dark machinations. And now, I would strike it with its own weapons, using its own rules against it. I had learned the insidious rules of their game, and I was ready to play. The plan began to unfold, each step a painful unraveling. Every action peeled back a scab from a wound in my heart, exposing raw nerves. With each one I brought down, another void opened inside me, a hollow space where friendship once resided. But there was no turning back, no retreat. This was my war, my personal reckoning. Sophie's glittering career collapses instantly as the damning documents of her illicit deals with James are leaked to the media. During Vogue Aura magazine's most prestigious fashion show of the year, a dazzling spectacle of haute couture, her face turns instantly pale, drained of color as a news alert, a breaking scandal, appears on her phone. Under the harsh glare of the runway lights, Sophie's ambitious, self-absorbed face suddenly contorts with a mixture of raw fear and burning anger. Journalists swarm around her like a pack of hungry wolves. Flashes pop, blinding her. Questions fly like poisoned darts. Sophie tries desperately to escape the relentless cameras, to flee the public scrutiny, but it's futile. She's caught in the spotlight. Lila watches from afar, from the dimly lit corner of a cafe, a silent observer. There's a sense of grim satisfaction on her face, a flicker of triumph, but also a profound tinge of sadness, a melancholic understanding. It feels less like a victory and more like the confirmation of a profound loss, the bitter end of our old friendship, shattered beyond repair. Clara falls directly into Lila's meticulously laid trap. While unknowingly delivering a seemingly innocuous package containing James's illegal artworks as a courier, she is arrested by the police following Lila's anonymous, precisely timed tip. Clara's shock and fear are vividly visible on her face, her world crumbling around her in an instant. As she is put into the police car, her eyes dart through the crowd, catching a fleeting, agonizing glimpse of Lila. In her eyes, a momentary plea, a look of profound hurt appears, a silent, heartbroken accusation. Lila avoids eye contact, her gaze fixed on the wet pavement. A hint of pain, a fleeting grimace crosses her face. Having to drag her, my childhood friend, into this mess, to taint her life with this corruption, hurt me deeply, but I had no other choice, no other path to justice, no other way to break free from the past. Cole, after interrogating Sophie with a chilling efficiency, meets Lila in a dimly lit, rain-slicked alley in Elysium City. The neon lights of the city reflect on the wet asphalt, creating a distorted, shimmering landscape. Cole takes a deep, deliberate drag from his cigarette, exhaling a cloud of smoke into the cool night air. "Your story is good, Lila," he says, his voice calm, almost conversational, but laced with an undeniable threat. "But I fill in the missing pieces. There are parts you haven't told, aren't there? Like your past with James. Or your other friend, Clara. I know everything, Lila, every step you've taken, and who you're working with. That former FOB agent, Mara Delgado, right? Don't play innocent with me." Cole knows Lila's every move, every secret. In fact, he's been playing a double game all along, a master of deception. He watches Lila under James's explicit instructions, a loyal pawn in James's intricate web. But Lila, with her sharpened instincts, has also noticed him, his subtle shifts, his lingering glances, and has acquired a secret, powerful ally, Mara Delgado. Mara, a former Federal Oversight Bureau, FFOB, agent, is now a civilian investigator, a lone wolf seeking justice through unconventional means. Lila had helped Mara in the past in a complex case where Mara's family was wrongly accused, a debt that Mara now intends to repay. Mara recorded a secret meeting between Cole and James, capturing irrefutable proof of Cole's deep-seated corruption. Lila will use this moment, where Cole tries to corner her, to turn the tables, to use his own tactics against him. Despite Cole's chilling threats, Lila's face shows not fear, but a steely determination, a resolve that hardens with every word. My whole life, every choice, every suppressed emotion was heading towards an inevitable explosion. The silent rage that had festered within me for years had now turned into a raging storm, a tempest of vengeance. And this storm, I knew, would sweep everything away, leaving only devastation in its wake. Lila, along with Mara, meticulously exposes all of James's extensive criminal records. They work tirelessly, gathering all the damning documents, chilling audio recordings, and incriminating footage related to James's illegal art trade, his vast money laundering operations, and even his brutal tactics of blackmail and threats. When James finally realizes his crimes have been exposed, his carefully constructed world crumbling around him, he tries desperately to escape in a panic. Cole, ever the loyal pawn, attempts to protect him, and along with James's heavily armed men, they try to stop Lila and Mara, to silence them forever. A breathtaking high-stakes chase begins through the crowded, rain-slicked streets of Elysium City, weaving through bustling subway stations and culminating in a tense standoff in dark, cavernous warehouses. Short but intense clashes occur between James's men and Lila or Mara, a desperate struggle for survival.
Lila's plan runs deeper, more cunning than anyone could have anticipated. It's not a mere fake media leak, a whispered rumor, but a live, televised press conference where she exposes them all, leaving no room for doubt or denial. On one of Elysium City's largest television channels, she meticulously details James's illegal activities, his vast network of corruption, and, most devastatingly, Sophie and Clara's intricate roles in this criminal enterprise. As damning images and irrefutable documents flash on screen, James's face turns pale, trembling with uncontrollable rage, his empire crumbling before his very eyes. Clara, after being released from police custody, her spirit broken, watches Sophie's press conference unfold on a small, flickering television screen. Sophie's career, once so brilliant, is now in ruins. There's an emptiness in her eyes, a hollow despair. Clara, in that moment, is crushed by the unbearable weight of years of accumulated jealousy and profound regret, a lifetime of unspoken truths. She turns to Sophie, her eyes filled with unshed tears, her voice trembling with a mixture of anger and sorrow. I kept quiet to protect you, she says, her voice barely a whisper. But I'm not even doing it for you anymore. Enough is enough. You ruined everything, Sophie. Everything. And she reveals all of James's dirty dealings, Sophie's deep involvement in them, and her own agonizing passivity in full, excruciating detail. Sophie cannot bear Clara's agonizing betrayal. She lunges at her, a primal scream escaping her lips. A brief, emotionally charged struggle ensues between them, a final, desperate clash of shattered friendship. Police enter the hall, separating them both, their cries echoing in the sudden silence. Cole is arrested, his reign of corruption over, while James disappears without a trace, vanishing into the labyrinthine shadows of Elysium City.
I brought justice. But what about me? The emptiness inside me is still there, a hollow ache where my heart used to be. I lost them, but maybe I never truly had them. They were my childhood friends, my love, my trust. All of them had turned into shadows, fleeting illusions, and I had learned to dance with those shadows, to move through them, but never to be consumed by them. Lila is left alone, the dust of her past settling around her. The obsidian gallery is sealed, its grand facade now marred by police tape, her life turned upside down, irrevocably altered. She sits amidst the wreckage of her gallery, surrounded by broken frames, shattered glass, and discarded dreams. Everything around her feels like a stark reflection of her own broken soul. There's a profound weariness on her face, a deep exhaustion, but also a quiet acceptance, a newfound peace. Her eyes stare into the void, contemplating the vast emptiness that now surrounds her. Mara Delgado approaches her, a silent, comforting presence. In her hand is a plain, unmarked envelope, an envelope containing a final, tantalizing clue about James's whereabouts, a loose thread in the intricate tapestry of their lives. Mara hands the envelope to Lila, her gaze compassionate and firm. "If you want, we can close this chapter completely," she says, her voice gentle but resolute. "Or you can complete this last piece, tie up the loose ends. The choice is yours. But remember, Lila, when some wars end, a new war begins. The one with yourself, the battle for your own soul." Lila takes the envelope, her fingers tracing the smooth, unyielding seal. She doesn't open it. Her eyes, filled with a complex mix of sadness and newfound strength, caress the surface of the envelope. Slowly, deliberately, she walks out of her shattered gallery, stepping into the vibrant, pulsating lights of Elysium City. The rain has stopped. The sky above is a canvas of twinkling stars, a promise of new beginnings. As she walks through the bustling streets, memories from the past, happy moments with her childhood friends playing in Elysium Park, their laughter echoing, her first innocent meeting with James, Sophie's dazzling laughter, Clara playing the piano with quiet intensity, flash through her mind, not as painful wounds, but as distant echoes. But this time, instead of raw pain, there is an expression of acceptance and empowerment on Lila's face, a quiet strength that emanates from within. Broken bonds. Perhaps some bonds must break, must shatter into a million pieces, to be rebuilt, stronger, more resilient than before. When glass breaks, the pieces cut, sharp and unforgiving. But those very pieces can also make a window, a new perspective, a clearer view. I won't just watch anymore, a silent observer in my own life. I will begin to see, truly see, the world around me and my place within it. The world outside might be frightening, a chaotic dance of shadows and light, but I won't dance in my own shadows anymore. I found my own light, a beacon guiding me forward. This was my story, the story of the day I opened a new window with my broken bonds, a window to a future I never imagined. And now, looking out that window, I'm ready to build a new world. Alone, but free, and finally, whole.